नित्यानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ॐ हां हौं शिवाय नमः। 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 ॐ हां हौं शिवाय नमः. We will now be entering into the Tattvachmanam, the ritualistic cleansing of the mouth. Please take your Panchapatrams and Uddharanis in your hand and place your hand in the Gokarana Mudra. Please take a sip of water from the base of your palm along with the mantra. Om Atmatattvam Shodhayami Swadha. Om Vidyatattvam Shodhayami Swadha. Om Shivatattvam Shodhayami Swadha. Please wash your hand. Now, with the base of your right hand thumb, wipe your lips twice from right to left along with the mantra. Om Ham Hridayaya Namaha. Wash your hands with an udharani of water. With the tips of your right hand, index, middle, and ring fingers joined together, touch above the upper lip and below the lower lip. With the tips of the right hand, index finger, and thumb joined together, touch the right nostril, left nostril. With the tips of the right hand, ring finger, and thumb joined together, touch the right eye, right ear, left ear. Wash your hands with an udharani of water. Now with the base of your right hand, touch your navel center, right chest, left chest. And with all five fingers joined together, touch the top of your head, right shoulder, left shoulder, near heart center. Wash your hands with an udharani of water. We will now be entering into the Sankalpa. Please clasp your right hand on top of your left hand and place it on your right thigh. As we enter into the Sankalpa, consciously visualize what is the reality which you want to manifest. What is the ultimate body, the ultimate mind of Paramashiva which you want to manifest? Manifesting the state, space, powers, and ultimate enlightenment of Paramashiva. During the Brahma Muhurta, whatever reality you visualize will simply manifest. To consciously hold that visualization, consciously see it has already manifested as we enter into the Sankalpa. ॐ ममोपार्थ समस्त दुरितक्षयद्वारा भगवत् श्रीनित्यानन्द परमशिवप्रीत्यर्थं श्रीनित्यानन्देश्वरी परमशिवशक्ति समेत श्रीनित्यानन्देश्वर परमशिवप्रीत्यर्थं च अद्य पूर्वोक्त एवं गुण विशेषेण विशिष्टायाम् अस्यां शुभदितौ पूर्ण आरोग्ययुक्त धृतगात्र यौगिकशरीरसिद्ध्यर्थं परमशिवशक्ति आविष्करणार्थं नित्यानन्दयोगाभ्यासं करिष्ये. ॐ अपौपस्पृश्य. Please wash your hands with an udharani of water. We will now be entering into the Nithyananda Yoga. Everyone can keep your panchapatrams and udharanis aside.
Nithyanandam, before we begin, a quick reminder. Today's yoga practice is for general wellness and education only. Please listen to your body and practice within your own limits. If you have any injuries, medical conditions, or are pregnant, please consult your healthcare professional before practicing. If at any point you feel pain, dizziness, or discomfort, gently stop and rest. Let us now begin the asanas. Today we are entering into the Panchama Vinyasa Krama. So let us now come to a seated position, starting with the Siddhasana Chatwari, accomplished pose 4. Start seated in a comfortable position with your spine upright, hips grounded. Draw one heel inward toward the perineum, and stack the opposite foot gently on top, allowing the knees to settle naturally. Cross your arms in front of your chest. Maintain steady breath and a stable, centered posture. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, keeping the eyes open and steady gaze outward while awareness rests deeply within. Holding the Shivkari Kumbhaka, gently pressing the tongue against the upper palate with the tip behind the front teeth, slowly inhaling through the teeth to create a hissing sound. Hold this breath and then calmly exhale through the nostrils. Clench your perineum, holding the Mula Bandha, and chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham internally. Next, we are moving on to Nivrityasanam. Now we're moving on to the next asana, Nivrityasanam. Continue to remain in the same position. Cross your arms in front of your chest. Nithyananda. Let us begin the asanas. As we begin with Siddhasana Chatwari, accomplished pose 4. Come seated in a comfortable position. Draw one heel in towards the perineum and stack the opposite foot gently on top, allowing the knees to settle naturally. Cross your arms in front of your chest, keeping your shoulders relaxed and chest open. Maintain steady breath and a stable centered posture as you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Shivkari Kumbhaka, gently pressing the tongue against the upper palate with the tip behind the front teeth, slowly inhaling through the teeth to create a hissing sound. Contract the muscles of the pelvic floor in Mula Bandha and chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Now we move on to the next asana, Nivrityasanam, the withdrawal pose. So continue to remain seated in the same position with your arms crossed in front of your chest. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Shivkari Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha and Japa as Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham in Nivrityasanam.
अथ निवृत्त्यासनम्.
Next we move on to Simhasana Chaturtha, the lion pose 4. So from a seated position, bring one heel close to the perineum and place the opposite foot above. Place the back of the hands on respective knees, palms open, and your gaze to the nose. Open your mouth wide and visualize yourself as a lion. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, keeping the eyes open, steady gaze, Shivkari Kumbhaka, gently pressing the tongue behind the front upper palate, making a hissing sound. Clench your perineum in Mula Bandha and Japa as Om Nithyananda Paramash.
सिंहासन चतुर्थ. दशानेषु प्रथमं सिद्धासनं, द्वितीयं भद्रासनं, तृतीयं पद्मासनं, चतुर्थं गोमुखासनं, पंचमं वीरासनं, षष्ठं वज्रासनं, सप्तमं भुजगासनं, अष्टमं मत्स्यासनं, नवमं उष्ट्रासनं, दशमं शवासनं.
Next we move on to Mrigavashtikasana, auspicious deer pose. Start seated with your spine upright, legs crossed. So your right foot rests on your left thigh and left foot rests on your right thigh. Sit in Padmasana. Bring your legs to face each other, keeping your knees grounded softly on the floor. And form a Mrigashirsha Mudra, the deer symbol pose, with your hand by placing both hands on your knees with fingers creating a deer head gesture. Keep your spine tall and breath steady for yogic focus, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Shivkari Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha and Japa as Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. So you will form like with both hands. Yes. Mahadev Smara. You form a deer head mudra with your hands. As you chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
स्थातव्यो भूतले पादो वासने वासने स्थेन योगिना दक्षिणं वामभागे तु वामपादं तु दक्षिणे.
Now we move on to Sthirasana. Steady pose. Start seated in a comfortable position with your spine upright and hips grounded. Draw one heel in towards the perineum and stack the opposite foot gently on top, allowing the knees to settle gently, naturally. Interlace your fingers in front of your stomach, keeping your shoulders relaxed and chest open. Hold the Parasha Mudra, which is interlacing the fingers, and Shipkari Kumbhaka with your breath, making a hissing sound to the tongue behind your upper palate, behind your teeth, and clench your perineum in Mula Bandha and chant the japa in Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अथ स्थिरासना.
Next, we move on to Sthita Tapana Asana. Steady heat pose. Remaining seated in the same position, raise your arms by your side. Raise both hands upwards above the head in alignment with the shoulders. Simultaneously, keeping the shoulders relaxed and chest open, hold the Shambhavi Mudra Shitari Kumbhaka Mula Bandha and the japa is Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अथ स्थातपासना.
Next, we
अथ
move on. Next, we move on to Pavanasana Dve, wind pose 2. So come to a kneeling position. Knees grounded, spine tall. Place your four fingers near the navel at the front of your body. At front of the body while positioning your thumbs around to the back. Holding the waist firmly, keep your chest lifted and shoulders relaxed as you engage your core gently as you raise your feet off the ground behind you. Maintain your balance with a steady breath and an upright posture, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka. In Ujjayi Kumbhaka, you'll slightly contract the throat and draw the breath slowly in towards the nostrils, in through the nostrils, producing the sound of the ocean. And clench your perineum in Mula Bandha as you chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अथ पवनासना.
Next, we move on to Purnapada Trikonasana. So, remaining in the kneeling position, this time you will bring your feet wider than shoulder width, keeping the tops of your feet flat on the ground and toes untucked. Lengthen your spine as you lift your chest upright as you hold the Namaskara Mudra with your hands. Ujjayi Kumbhaka with your breath. Clench your perineum in Mula Bandha and the japa is Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अथ पूर्णपादत्रिकोणासना.
Next, we move on. Next, we move on to Simhasana Pancha, the lion pose. So here, from a seated position on your knees, cross your ankles beneath your perineum, soles turn upward, place the palm firmly on the knees to ground the body. Draw the chin to the into the throat, lock the extended neck and keep the gaze fixed at the tip of the nose, holding the Shambhavi Mudra Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Jalandhara Bandha. Jalandhara Bandha is tucking the chin towards the chest firmly without straining the neck. as we chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Next, we move on to Ardha Vrikshasana. So this is an inverted posture. Start from a kneeling position and interlace your fingers, placing the back of your hands tight firmly on the ground to create a stable base. Lower the crown of your head into your palms, allowing the head to be gently supported while keeping the most of the weight in your hands, and forearms. Lift your hips upward and bring your knees off the ground, keeping them bent with the heels drawing in close towards the buttocks. Holding the Shirasi Mudra, resting the hand gently, lightly upon the head, maintaining stillness in breath and mind. Kevala Kumbhaka, allow the breath to pass naturally. Observe without forcing. Clench the perineum in Mula Bandha and the japa is Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अथ अर्धवृक्षासना.
Next is Ardhangri Vrikshasana, half tree pose. So continuing to remain in the same position, this time one leg extended and the other leg bent with the foot supported on the shin of the other leg. As you hold the Shirasi Mudra, Kevala Kumbhaka, allowing the breath to pass naturally, observe without forcing, clench a perineum in Mula Bandha and japa as Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अथ अर्धाङ्घ्रिवृक्षासना.
So take the support of the wall if needed. Next, we will repeat the Ardhangri Vrikshasana on the other side.
अथ अर्धाङ्घ्रिवृक्षासना.
Slowly come down as we move on to Anjalikasana. Start kneeling on the ground with your knees hip-width apart. Place both hands gently over the heart center, keeping your spine straight and chest open. Ground your sit bones evenly into the floor, feeling a sense of gratitude and reverence. Holding the Anjali Mudra with your hands. Kevala Kumbhaka, allowing the breath to pass naturally. Observe without forcing. Clench your perineum and Mula Bandha and the japa as Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Next is Mrityunjaya Asana, death conquering pose. So this is an inverted pose. From a seated position on your knees, place the crown of your head gently on the ground and interlace the fingers at the back of your head for support. Lift the knees and extend the legs upward, forming a firm vertical alignment. Keep the elbows and forearms grounded to stabilize the body. Focus your mind on Paramashiva and abide steadily within the posture. Holding the Vaishnavi Mudra, hold the outer vision steady without blinking while awareness remains within. Kevala Kumbhaka, allowing the breath to pass naturally. Clench your perineum and Mula Bandha and the japa is Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
मृत्युजयासना. मृत्युजयासनं नाम शिरसा हेतूनां स्पृशं पार्श्वे व्योमि ध्यानं महादेवं मृत्युञ्जयनम् अमृतं लभेत्.
Now remaining with the inverted position, we are moving on to Urdhva Samyukta Padasana. This time gently bending both your knees, bring your feet together and feet are against each other in Urdhva Samyukta Padasana. As you hold the Vaishnavi Mudra, Kevala Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, the japa as Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अथ ऊर्ध्वसंयुक्तपादासना.
Continuing to remain in the same position, we are moving on to Khadgasana Purvanga, the sword pose preliminary. So here we are holding the Vaishnavi Mudra, Kevala Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, and the Japa as Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, and remaining in the same posture.
खड्गासना. अथ खड्गासनपूर्वाङ्गा.
Next we move on to Khadgahasana, the sword pose. Extend the legs right up, extending both feet up, both legs up, holding the Vaishnavi Mudra, Kevala Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, and Japa as Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अथ खड्गासना.
Next, we move on to Urdhva Padmasana. So, remaining in the same position, folding your legs to form Padmasana with your legs in Urdhva Padmasana. Holding the Parashimudra with your hands, Kevala Kumbhaka. In the breath, Mula Bandha, clenching the perineum in Mula Bandha, and Japa Azom Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Now, we are moving on to Mandalasanam. So, again, remaining with your crown of the head on the floor, hands interlaced behind your head, and walk your feet on the floor to one side in Mandalasanam. Hold the Vaishnavi Mudra, Kevala Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, and Japa as Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
मण्डलासनं नामापादभेयां भूमिं स्पृशं हस्ताभ्यां च परिब्रह्मं मण्डलाकरं दक्षिणं वामं च.
Next, we move on to Khadgahasana Uttaranga, sword pose progression. This is the advanced asana. So please take due care as you perform this asana. You can take the support of your partner. So basically inverted pose, extending your legs up. But instead of the hands supporting behind your head, the hands are going to be extended on the floor and the legs raised up. Now we move on to Vajrasana, Padakara Mudrasana, Thunderbolt foot pulling action pose. Sit with the knees on the ground and toes flat, resting your sitting bones on top of your heels. Keep your spine long, shoulders back. Place your hands on the respective thighs with elbows straight and head facing forwards. Holding the Shakti Chalana Mudra, awaken the base energy with steady intent, drawing prana upward through the spine, holding the Ujjayi Kumbhaka, slightly contracting the throat and Drawing the breath slowly in through the nostrils, producing the sound of the ocean. Clench your perineum and Mula Bandha and the Japa zone, Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Vajrasana Padakara Mudrasana. वज्रासनस्थो योगी कराभ्यां पादद्वयुक्तं चलदाघ्र्यवेन लौली भवति मेदितः.
Next, we move on to Garuda Asanasat. Eagle pose 6. From a seated position on your knees, bring your knees together, spread your feet wide apart. Rotate the inside of your feet towards the ground and rest your palms on the respective knees. As you hold the Vaishnavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha and Japa Azom Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Now we move on to Gorakshasana, the sage Gorakshas pose 2. Here, start kneeling with your heels together and your knees wide apart, allowing the inner edges of your feet to rest on the ground with the soles facing towards one another. Settle your hips evenly as you lengthen your spine and lift your chest upright. Cross your arms behind your back and reach down and to wrap the index finger, middle finger and thumb around the opposite big toes, holding the Prana Mudra Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha and Japazom Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Next, we move on to Kurmasanasa, the tortoise pose 6. From a seated position on your knees, spread them wide and bring your torso forward, resting your elbows lightly on your knees. Slowly bring your chest down towards the ground and rest your chin on the mat as well. Keep the heels together behind you and toes flat on the ground as you gaze forward, holding the Kurma Mudra, drawing the senses inward, becoming still and withdrawn like a tortoise. As you hold the Kurma Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, Japa Zone, Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
कूर्मासना. देखना उदर राधारे कर्मा संकोर विधि करे गुरु गुरु वाम जिन्मका पराधने उपजधनो पाशुमोपग्रगा गरुड़ा वेग.
Slowly come up. As we move on to Adhokagasana, the downward sky mover pose. Here, front the hands and feet on the mat. So bring your hands and feet on the mat. Press your palms firmly, spread the fingers wide, lift your hips toward the sky to form an inverted V. Keep your feet hip width apart, heels pressing down, spine long, and head relaxed between the arms. Engage your legs and core. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, holding the Shambhavi Mudra Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha and the Japa Zone Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अधोखगासना. ऊर्ध्वखगो मध्यखगस्तथा खग उत्तिष्यते निराधारोऽपि च गः स्यात् Chidangavara
Next, we move on to Alidhasana, archery stance pose. So, keeping your right foot 90-degree angle, your right leg at a 90-degree angle. Extend the left leg behind as you stretch your right hand forward, left hand by your chest, making a fist with both hands. Soma Omkarnima, try to keep the spine straight. You're leaning forward. Instead of leaning forward, keep your body straight. Yes. And leg at a 90-degree angle. As you hold the Dhanu or Vama Mudra, press the ring finger, little finger by the thumbs touching the respective shoulder. The opposite hands just extend the index finger, holding the Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Moolabandha, Japazom, Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Alidhasana. Alidhatu प्रकर्व्यक्तं शव्यं चैवानुकुञ्चितं दक्षिणं तु पुरस्ताद्वा दूरपाते विशिष्यते.
Now from this position, we are going to lean forward, bring your hands towards the front foot, wrapping them around the foot towards the inside. So if your right leg, whichever leg was in the front, with the knees bent, now go back to the previous asana. Yes, now lean forward. The hands are together, Maom Karima. Both hands are around the leg. Both hands are around the leg. So your right hand goes behind your right leg and wrap them around, holding onto your ankles. Bring your head down. Yes, bring your head down, looking forward. So looking towards the front, looking as you face the camera. So basically you look towards us. Yes. Bring the head down. Bring the head as much as down as possible, looking towards the front. See, as you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Moolabandha, Japazom, Nithyananda, Paramashivoham.
अर्धचन्द्रासना. भुजेन जानुं वेष्टयित्वा मूर्धानं भूमौ नयेत् निदाशे कककुम्भं कृत्वा श्वासं सप्तधा साधयेत्.
From here, we move on to Baddha Parshvakonasana, the bound side angle pose. So remaining in the same position, your legs are in the same position. This time you're going to wrap your arms around the thighs. Wrap the one arm, right arm, under the thigh, while the left arm comes from behind the back, and try to clasp both hands. So one arm is under the thigh, one arm goes behind your back and comes back and wraps around. As you look up towards the sky in Baddha Parshvakonasana, as you hold the Parashumudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Moolabandha, Japazom, Nithyananda, Paramashivoham.
कक्षयोपादसन्धिश्च धारणं कटथे बुधा उदरास्कन्धयोश्चैव धारणं वरपादयो.
Next, we move on to Urdhva Akasha Startaka Asana, upward sky mover pose. So from a tabletop Press your hands onto the ground, tuck the toes, lifting the heels as you raise the hips into a V shape. Shift weight onto your left hand and foot. Lift and rotate the right leg. Place the right foot behind you. Lift the chest, hips extended, the right arm overhead or back. Engage the core, maintain steady breath as you hold the Shambhavi Mudra. Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mulabandha, Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivo.
ऊर्ध्वखगो मध्यखगस्तथा खगो इष्यते निराधारोऽपि च स्यात् चिदाङ्गावरीदः
Now we move on to the next asana, Pratyalidhasana. Parshvantre, the archery stance pose, repeated on the other side. So now extending the left leg forward, so come up to a standing position. Extending the left leg forward, whichever leg you did previously. Now do the opposite leg. Bend more. Mahadevasmana. Come to still seated position. Your legs to be 90-degree angle. So come down as much as possible. Bring your left hand forward. Straighten. Extend the. Yes. And looking forward. As you hold the Dhanu or Vama Mudra and Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mulabandha and Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
प्रत्यालिधासना अग्रतो वामपादश्च दक्षिणं चानुकुञ्चितं प्रत्यालीधं प्रकृत्यं हस्ताद्विस्तरम्
From here, transition forward, bending forward towards the front leg, wrapping the arms around the front foot, and bring your forehead down in front, looking towards the side. Omkarima, you will be facing the wall, not this side. You will be facing the wall. So your left hand down to the floor, right hand, right hand also bring to the feet, and your head down between your arms. Your head is between your arms and you look towards the wall. Bring your forehead down to your ankle. Bring your head down to the ankle as much as possible. And you look to the other side. Yes. You look to the wall towards Swamiji. Your head is down. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mulabandha, and the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
अर्धचन्द्रासना भुजेन जानुं वेष्टयित्वा मूर्धानं भूमौ नयेत् निदाशेककुम्भं कृत्वा श्वासं सप्तदा साधयेत्.
From here we move on to Baddha Parshva Konasana. So wrap your arms around. So from here, bring your left hand under your thigh, your right hand goes behind your back and tries to clasp the fingers together in Baddha Parshva Konasana. As you hold the Parashumudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mulabandha, and the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
बद्धपार्श्वकोणासना कक्षयोपादसन्धिश्च धारणं कटेद्बुधा उदरास्कन्धयोश्चैव धारणं वरपादयो.
Next, we move on to Urdhva Akasha Startaka Asana, upward sky mover pose. Repeating on the other side. From a tabletop. This time, extend the opposite foot, opposite hand above. From a tabletop, press your hands onto the ground, tuck your toes, lift the heels as you raise the hips into a V, and the right hand and foot lift, and rotate the left leg, place the left foot behind you, lift the chest and hips, extend the left arm overhead and back. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, and the Japa zone, Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
ऊर्ध्व आकाशना ऊर्ध्वखगो मध्यखगस्तथा खगयिष्यते निराधारोऽपि च गस्यात् चिदाङ्गावरीदः.
Next, we move on to Bhairava Sthapadasana, 8-limb Bhairava pose. So begin from a plank position with toes tucked and hands flat. Slowly lower your knees, chest and chin down as they lightly touch the floor. Maintain your hips lifted and spine long, and avoid letting your elbows flare by tucking them into your sides. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, and the Japa zone, Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
भैरवस्तपदासना अष्टपादासने स्थित्वा भैरवं हृदि धारयेत्. कुक्कुटासनवत् प्रोक्तं जानुभ्यामधिविलोकनम्.
Now we move on to Madhya Khagasana, middle sky mover pose. So start lying face down with the legs extended, tops of the feet pressing into the floor, hands under your shoulders. Press through your palms and tops of the feet. Lift your chest forward and up and straighten the arms while keeping shoulders away from the ears. Lift the thighs, broaden collarbones. Open the chest, gaze slightly upward as you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, and Japa zone, Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
मध्यखगासना ऊर्ध्वखगो मध्यखगस्तथा खगयिष्यते निराधारोऽपि च गस्यात् चिदाङ्गावरीदः.
Very slowly come to a laying down position. Lay on your back, completely relaxing. As we move on to the last asana, Smashana Vasana. Start laying on your back with your legs extended, feet relaxed. Rest your arms slightly away from your body with the palms facing up. Let your shoulders soften into the mat. Place your hands comfortably at your sides for ease and avoid tensing your jaw. Holding the Shakti Chalana Mudra. Awaken the base energy with steady intent, drawing the prana upward through the spine. Holding the Kevala Kumbhaka, allowing the breath to pass naturally. Observe without forcing. Maintain relaxed awareness. Hold the Mula Bandha, firmly contract the muscles of the pelvic floor, lifting upward without tension, and chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham internally.
अथ शवासनम् उत्थानं शववद्भूमौ शयनं तु शवासनम्. शवासनं शान्तिहरं चित्तविश्रान्तिकारकम्.
Now slowly wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers as you rotate your ankles. Bend your knees and bring them towards your chest as you hug your knees and rock side to side. Slowly roll over to one side and come up to a seated position. Wonderful. As we all continue to do the Panchama Vinyasa Krama, we will continue to do the rest of the asanas tomorrow, the 800 series of the Panchama Vinyasa Krama. Thank you all for joining us today. As we come to an end of the session, we will now chant the Purna Mantra as we close the session. If you enjoyed this session, please put your comments and like. And if you'd like to get a deeper experience of the Nithyananda Yoga, please come join us in Paramashiva Sena, happening in 3 locations: in Kailasa, Guinea-Bissau, in Kailasa, Tiruvannamalai in Bharat, and in Adi Kailash, Bengaluru. So you can register for yourself for this program at ecitizen.info/PSS. So thank you all for joining us today as we close this session with the Purna Mantra. Please bring your hands together as we chant Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu Om Nithyanandam